Cat Audio.
Hi, twins. Thank you so much for joining us for this week's episode of Take What You Need, the podcast. I am so excited to be joined with the beautiful Lotus La Loba. She is a self-proclaimed trauma-informed wellness baddie. She is a reverend. She is a writer. She is an all-around girls girl EFT tapping queen goddess energy. I was so excited to get in conversation with her because of her presence in the EFT tapping industry and just her ability to bring healing and sensuality and beauty to all things and just like the overall empowerment of our community. She is everything she says she is, and I cannot wait for you guys to dive a little bit deeper into this episode.
So, with that, I invite you to get into a nice, comfortable seated position. You can soften your gaze or close your eyes. There is no right or wrong way to show up in this moment. Take a deep breath in the nose and let it out with a sigh through the mouth. And I invite you to come as you are and take what you need.
Lotus, hello. Thank you. Thank you for taking time to be here today with us.
Yes, I'm so excited. Like I'm literally
I
sweating here.
I know we've been planning and plotting this for such a long time and it's finally happening and it feels so right and so aligned and I know that listeners can't see Lotus, but she is shiny and beautiful and stunning and gorgeous and just like the shiniest, brightest, like most bright star in the sky. Welcome to Take What You Need, the podcast. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling so at peace, so centered.
Mm,
Yeah.
that's a
This is
good feeling.
Mhm.
What lends to that sense of peace and calm?
Oh my goodness, definitely my spiritual practice. Uh,
Mm,
just being in connection with my ancestors, connecting to the Black Madonna, Oshun, Medusa. There's different I don't know, I'm a devotee of different things, of different spiritual practices. So it's really amazing to have such incredible connection to them because I'm always feeling like at peace, like in my heart,
mm,
my body. I feel very protected, very seen.
yeah.
Uh, yeah, that feeling is just my practice will always get me to that point. Oh,
Yeah, absolutely. Like tried and true. Always
yeah.
going to get you to that place.
Yes.
Tell us, for people who don't know you, tell us a little bit about yourself, how you kind of came to be, how you've stepped into this place of this, like, I mean, I get this like dark, feminine, flowy energy, like so sensual, like very sexy. Tell us about yourself.
Oh my goodness. So, I'm like, where do I even begin?
Mm-hmm.
Who I am is because of my ancestors. It's because of the lineage I come from. I'm a fourth generation beauty practitioner. So, like my mom, my grandmother, my great grandmother, and I'm assuming my great grandmother, my great great grandmother,
Mm-hmm.
were practitioners of utilizing beauty as an energy to shift the circumstances that they were in. So that passed on to me. I grew up in it. My mom was more of a an unknowing practitioner. I think a lot of what she was doing, she didn't have a name for it. It was just something that she was taught by her mother. And
Mm-hmm.
then I came along to kind of put the pieces together and be like, oh, you're doing this. Like, oh, are we conjuring right now? Like, okay, cool. Like, I need that Gemini rising. I need like a title to do the research so I can dive in.
Mm-hmm.
So that really shaped me a lot growing up with like such powerful maternal figures in my life. I often joke that I didn't really understand the patriarchy until maybe like middle school when other people were like, I had asked my dad and I was like, oh, really? Like, oh, that's so crazy. Like, I'm like, even the men
So
in my
true.
they had reverence for the women. The women were the
Mm,
decision makers. I grew up
yeah.
in that energy. I grew up understanding that beauty is power, that beauty is an energy that can provide life force, that can provide protection. Uh,
Mm.
I integrated into like mainstream society, I
Hmm.
was often like the weird girl, it's like
Yeah.
I do everything backwards. Um,
Yeah.
and then that kind of bled into me as a practitioner, becoming a reverend, and really wanted to
Mhm.
make sure that when we are talking about energy, especially when we're talking about beauty, I know there's like this huge influx of like glamour magic and all these things on TikTok. Shout out TikTok.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, that it's not just for surface level. There's really
Mm.
a transformative practice that comes to that, that comes from that. There's a lot of power in it, especially if you identify as like a Black femme.
Yeah.
Um, because we are quite often told that our beauty, our physicality is like lesser than. And
Mm.
growing up, I didn't have that experience. I was
Mhm.
often affirmed physically as well as intellectually. So
Mm.
I feel like I'm kind of here to stand in that gap and kind of bridge the beauty and the brain's conversation energetically, for people so that they can feel full in their life,
Yeah.
pick between either or, but finding
Mm.
out that like you can wield both and it can be a really beautiful and fulfilling life. Uh,
Yeah.
and that's really what I've devoted myself to over the past like decade or so. It's kind of shifted from different modalities and practices and things like that for what the community needs in that time. But my underlying thing is that I want people to feel beautiful inside and out when they're in my presence.
Well, you're doing that. Tried and true. Literally, you got on the camera and I was like, wow, she's so sexy. Like, so, I was like,
You.
wow, like it is oozing out of you. Like, I was like, I'm still in my pajamas, Lotus. Give me a chance. I wanted to touch on this topic of beauty going deeper, the sense of like beauty being so much more than just like surface level energy because it does get commodified as just like a when I think of like not necessarily all the time, but like beauty like vapidness or like beauty as manipulation, or never like a place of empowerment. And that is definitely like
Yeah.
patriarchal, I don't know, like energy, like coming in and reaping away things that are like places of power for women in general. So tell me more about how you've kind of, I mean, you grew up in it. So like, what is that like when you confront like the patriarchy and you're like, that's not actually how it is?
Yeah, quite often there's a lot of rage involved.
So
I'm
true.
often like really sitting with my rage and um
Mm,
questioning it, in the sense of, is it valid? Yes, most times rage is valid. Most time for Black women, rage is a valid response. Let me just be very,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
from there, it's then like, okay, well, why is this bringing up such a big emotion for you?
Yeah,
And I realize that I get very passionate about beauty being an energy, because it becomes very disempowering in the patriarchal, um, outlook, and
yeah.
people are like, yeah, like I'd much rather be smart, not pretty. And it's
Mm-hmm.
okay, but why do we keep putting these limitations on ourselves, especially
Yeah,
Black women, Black
yeah.
femmes? We already have the world telling us what we can and can't be if we're not pretty enough to whatever it is. Why would
Mm-hmm.
we add on to that?
Yeah,
You know?
yeah,
And it really
yeah,
that indoctrination of like we have so much to pull back and how to like decolonize our minds. And
yeah,
colonizing your mind around beauty is such a liberating aspect because you
yeah,
show up as yourself, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Honoring the dark and the light about you. And
yeah.
constantly saying you have to have both. You cannot just be a light worker, a light warrior, things like that. You become
Mm-hmm.
very um unbalanced is a word
Mm,
often, but I feel like I can kind of weave that into here. You become
mm-hmm.
balanced, you become more elitist, like oh,
Mm, mm,
operating in the light. And I know these things are
mm,
like you don't, beauty is messy.
mm,
It's a very an alive feeling, but it's also very healing. It really does
mm,
speak to that dual aspect of femininity, of dark feminine energy, of light feminine energy, of the divine
mm,
feminine as a whole, being
mm,
able to play around with that energy to
mm,
shift how you look and, to enjoy the clothes that you wear. There's a healthy level of being in the surface, right?
mm,
Where vanity is a part of it. I know people
mm,
get out, but like, yeah, being
mm,
vain. part of it, not to an extreme where you're like detrimental to other people around you, but
Yeah.
have the pride in how you feel about yourself.
Mm.
Super important, but also going deeper and realizing that beauty is the expression of God's love. God is
Mm.
something beautiful, whether it be a person or a baby laughing or a wonderful couple holding hands or
Mhm.
the flower blooming. It slows down time. You literally are being pulled to the present moment to witness something that is ultimately healing you. That is
Yeah.
beauty. And I feel
Mm.
like we like lose the plot on that all the time because we're constantly focused on like the beauty industry and like what's trending and things like that. And it's like
Right.
when I see a beautiful person, it is probably one of the most healing things for me
Hmm. Hmm.
to experience somebody that's really comfortable in their skin, in their power.
Hmm.
And because of that, they are radiating such a sense of wholeness that you get to feel that too.
Hmm.
Like it's always fascinated me. And
Yeah,
I love
like the generosity.
that the
Ab-
beauty flows to you.
Yes. I think also too, what I'm realizing is your framework of beauty is from a place of abundance and overflow and from like fullness rather than the lack. So, like you mentioned, the beauty industry. And so you think like they're capitalizing on the fact that you think you don't have any of these things. They're looking to fill the gap for you. So you spend the things, you buy the things, you fill the things, right? When the reality is like it's so like beauty is so abundant in nature. Like it's so abundant in its grace is that it's just overflowing no matter what, and everyone can tap into it at any given moment, and it returns you back to yourself like over and over and over again.
Every time. Every
Every
single
single time. Yeah. I This is so funny and unique and interesting. And I always try to like really, approach these conversations with like an open hand to just like just let spirit do what it wants, let spirit guide it wherever it needs to go. And it always hits me right every single time. But yeah, this beautiful reminder. It's just a beautiful reminder of just like how much abundance is around us, what is accessible to us when we release those limiting beliefs, which is something that I'm kind of coming up against a threshold in myself of like what is available to me, what is not available to me. And I'm curious how you approach your thresholds,
Mm.
how you approach these places of like, oh, I'm coming up against this thing that does not speak to my upbringing, it doesn't speak to who I know myself to be. How do you navigate those places in your practice as a woman?
Yeah, that's a beautiful question. I'm like, there's so many things rising up in me. I'm like, okay, where do I? It's a very
Yeah.
response.
Mm.
I'm gonna do what I can to streamline it. Um, First and foremost, I often feel when I get up to that threshold, it
Mhm.
becomes, I guess, like irritating because I know that I'm in it, and I'm like, what the
Mhm.
hell is happening? Like,
Mhm.
what is this pressure that I'm feeling? Because
Mm.
as an infinite being, as someone that is connected to, lineage that goes
Yeah.
farther back than I'm even aware of,
Mm.
um, you realize how expansive life is. Like you're here to expand,
Mm.
you're here to unfold like a lotus flower, right? Like you're here to
Mhm.
it'll be itself. It's so important to remember that.
Yeah.
That usually comes up for me. And then when I hit that threshold and I notice the like irritation or the annoyance, the first thing it is to take care of myself. That is usually
Mm.
my first go-to. It's like, okay,
Mm.
before we dive in, because there is like that beauty and beast aspect
Mhm.
very much inside of me. There's
Mhm.
a full-blown beast that lives in me that is always ready for war, ready to go, will burn down any bridge. That might be like my Scorpio stellium talking, but regardless, it lives within me as well as,
Mhm.
this softer, more empathetic side that's kind of like I can see where you're coming from with this. So I see
Mm.
both of those sides. I sit with
Mhm.
them. I reflect on what's coming up. And then from there, I sit with my ancestors, I sit in that energy. And usually from that practice, taking care of myself, going back, reflecting on the inner duality, something very clear comes to me of like, here's how we're going to approach this. And it
Mm.
usually for me because I am here to, well, we all are here to share information, but for me and my
Mhm.
mind, I'm here to use my voice, to use my words, whether that be through like teaching, which was been my primary modality.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but now it's more like modeling the behavior for others to witness.
Mm,
Just taking it
mm.
as it because sometimes the titles are a lot for me, and
Yeah.
I'm not a savior. I'm not your healer. Like
Right. Right.
not who I am at all. That can
Yeah.
be overwhelming. But I just
Mm,
share it, and every time that I do, I've been really fortunate and blessed to attract an audience, to attract a community that really resonates with what I'm saying, and then from that space of resonance, like there's just more expansion that happens,
mm,
connecting the dots with each other, and like, oh my
mm.
gosh, I didn't, and it becomes this deep, divine conversation that
Yeah.
leaves everyone feeling whole, no matter what your walk of life is. Though I primarily share through my point of view as a Black woman, as a
Mm-hmm.
queer woman,
Mm-hmm.
it's like when a message is divine, anybody can resonate with it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I like to keep that in mind. So hopefully that answers the question.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, there's no right or wrong here, sister. You get to do whatever you want.
Thank
You
you.
you can take me wherever you want to go. You know what I mean? I yes, I think that's so human and so honest. And I appreciate this sense of yeah, like labeling is hard. I'm also like a very multifaceted person, so it's hard. I don't fit in just one place, right? So wanting to do and be all is one thing, and like how do I like package that for people? I'm like you said, you just embody. You just show up as is. You do the thing by showing the thing. A big part of my heart song is like I want people to look at me and think, "Oh, Lexi did it, so I can definitely do it." Like, "Oh, she went for it. I'm going for it." Like if she can do it, I for sure as hell can do it. Like that like gives so much meaning to my purpose.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I'm grateful and excited and like so pleased as punch to know that you're like sharing that wisdom as you grow and as you go along and like you're like, oh, someone's got to hear this. Like someone's got to feel this. like
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 you,
mhm,
like as a vessel, like it's like if I
mhm.
don't share, I feel like I'm gonna like explode. Like I
Yeah.
need to get
Yeah.
this out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I find that to be the same. Like I learn something new and I'm like, I immediately have to let somebody know. I'm like, I didn't invent this. I just picked it up. You got to know about this thing. This is so helpful to you and to me. And yeah, that's a really good. We're so lucky that generous people like you exist with all this wisdom. Because if you were just like hoarding it for yourself, I think the world would be a lot weirder and
It
darker.
was
And
so unfortunate. And I feel
yeah.
like there's a message in even what you said in that of like share.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I'm afraid because shaming and embarrassment is definitely a thing,
Oh
and
yeah.
not everything we think is wisdom. Sometimes it's an opinion.
Right. Right.
Keeping that in mind,
Yeah.
like feeling brave enough, feeling safe
Yeah.
enough to
Yeah.
express these things is like super important.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, me feeling safe allows me to be as vulnerable and transparent as I am as a practitioner.
Yeah.
If you follow my work or if you check out in my class, like I'm very honest about my truth, what I've been through. I don't shy away from the heaviness or the messiness of my life, my
Mm-hmm.
comings or my mistake. None of that, because I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you can judge me, sure, but like, why would you spend your time doing that when we can like commune and heal together? Like that would be such a,
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that's fine.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I feel like having that sense of safety allows me to share, and to feel confident enough to share like wisdom and to trust that like this is going to land on someone's ears and it's going to be nourishment for them.
Yeah.
I may never know it.
Right.
I may never.
Right.
I've been fortunate to get the confirmations and the
Sure.
compliments, but like I go into it like even if nobody responds back, they're like, "Girl, you sound mad."
Yeah. Yeah.
I know I'm pleasing my ancestors.
Yeah.
Like I'll just be crazy, but like
Right.
all the greats are, right?
I respect that so much. Absolutely. I keep getting the sense of like, I know everyone's so afraid of being like cringe, right? Like that's the word of the year, like cringe. It's so cringe to be vulnerable. It's so cringe to put yourself out there and try. But like cringe pays the bills, bitch. Like, okay, like I'm not even playing. Like
Yeah.
Me putting myself out there, making a damn fool of myself, whatever that looks like you said, at least the ancestors are pleased. If I'm just screaming into the void and nobody's rocking with me, at least my ancestors are pleased.
Oh,
But I think it is about that sense of just trying something, putting yourself out there, letting yourself be known, um, and like not shooting yourself in the foot before you can even get through the door.
yeah. Like people mistake that, that trendy word cringe. It's always so funny anytime I hear it because I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
there's a meaning for that. It's not like
Right. Right.
everything really should make you cringe, right? Like,
Right.
yeah,
There are
or
things that are
word
cringe-worthy.
cringe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You sharing like a personal story should really not be safe, like
Right.
your own. But I
Correct.
think you're confusing cringe with being courageous.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
because we're not aligning that, we tend to lean toward like being a coward, right? And like that's
Right.
me that I can't. Like it feels wrong in my body
Mm-hmm.
uh, to be a coward, to
Mm-hmm.
pull away from something. Um
Uh-huh.
I being courageous for me is more out of self-preservation probably than anything else, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
I need to feel okay in my body at the end of the day. I
Yeah.
feel I can get a good night's sleep. And as
Mm.
long as I do that, I'll be able to deal with whatever, the world has to dish out because I'm not doing it on my own.
Yeah. That's true. That's a really good point. I can relate a lot to that same feeling of like, well, it has to be done. Like I'm always gonna try and I'm always gonna do it. Like yeah, it's completely disservice to my lineage. It's a complete disservice to my DNA to not do the thing that I'm like, oh shit, that thumping feeling of adrenaline is like, oh shit, I'm about to do something. I'm about to do this thing. I'm about to speak up. I'm about to rise. Here I go kind of feeling. Like I will be that girl. I'll do it every time.
Yeah. I
I
love a
have
good
to. Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah. It just has to be done. And it is, yeah, it is about that. Like, did I rest my head on my pillow at the end of the day and say, did I do a good job? Did I did I stand up? Did I say the thing that needed to be said? I'm like, yeah, I did, because I'm not gonna live a life of regret. No way in hell.
No, like I no, yeah. There are past when I was younger and I'm like giving myself grace of like, you did the best you could with what you had.
Absolutely.
But I have always been a very fierce person.
Uh-huh.
Um, and now it just feels more unleashed, even sometimes
Uh-huh.
with hinge now, where I'm like, yeah,
Uh-huh.
I would not respond the same way though. Like, don't try me today. Like
Yeah, yeah.
take time
Yes.
and mindful because I think that that's important because we're human beings, right? We're these
Yeah.
beings having this human experience.
Hmm.
Part of humanity is like it's super messy. Like that's
Yeah.
the purpose of humanity. Like there's no real sense of perfection. It's for you to
Mm-hmm.
explore. It's for you to like dive in deep and to test things out and to see how it feels for you in this current lifetime, this current timeline that you're in. And
Hmm.
um if we're so focused on how other people are going to be perceiving us, we're
Hmm.
missing the plot of life.
Yeah.
We're focusing on the wrong thing.
Definitely, definitely. So, with your practice and your work, generally when your clients are coming to you, they're like, oh, she's the one. What is it that they're looking for generally? I mean, maybe it's not a one size fits all answer, which again, no right or wrong here, but I'm just curious, like when people find you, they're like, this is like, I found you, this is why.
It's usually because people are in the midst of heavy transformation.
Yeah.
They're like in a liminal space when they meet me.
Yeah.
Um, it's usually a major change for them, maybe like a
Mm,
shift, maybe
mm,
it's someone
mm,
going from, being someone's spouse to being single, or,
mm,
going from working a 9 to 5 to being an entrepreneur. You're
mm,
usually in a space of transition when you meet
mm.
me.
Yeah.
And I find that what I get from most of my clients and my students is that my vulnerability is what makes them feel like, okay, I can do this. You know,
Mm,
I do not shy away from the darker things in
yeah.
life. But because I also practice being a safe space to myself and therefore
Mm,
a container for people who are engaging with me,
yeah.
I feel more comfortable exploring that darkness a bit more.
Yeah.
That like I'm holding your hand, you know what I mean? Like I'm
Yeah.
here And I'm also not just holding your hand, but reminding you, like, hey, you are incredible. You are amazing. And you actually can get this is your darkness. You should never be afraid of something that belongs to you. Your darkness,
Mm,
right? It's there. We come from the darkness. We come from the womb. It's dark in there, but that's where we grow. That's where we come alive. And then we're born into the light to express.
mm,
And I feel like so many of us forget that part. We're so interested again in like that light energy that
mm,
we that the wisdom, the healing, the knowledge, it comes from your darkness. And being able to help people reframe that understanding and that relation to their darkness, I think that's what I'm known for. Whether people were able to put it into words like that or not, it's usually you're transitioning into that darker side. You're realizing like, oh, this doesn't mean that I'm like an evil, horrible, mean person. It just means like I'm a dual being, I'm having, I'm allowed to feel these other feelings. One thing I take a lot of pride in is in my live classes, I've been teaching live classes like on Insight Timer and like social media for like over a decade. And I've
mhm.
never once had a situation where people didn't feel safe. People were able to share like heartbreak. They were able to share tragedy. And it wasn't this heavy feeling on all of us. We were all
Yeah.
able to share that load. And I take a lot of pride in that. And I do believe it's because we are all in that space of transition when we commune. So we're like, I either was right there where you're at, and I know, or like, you know what? I feel like I might be coming up to that. This is great for me to kind of witness and navigate and to provide the support that I would hope to receive for myself. You know,
Hmm.
um,
Hmm.
fortunate to attract people like that. Really,
Yeah.
yeah, it's been amazing.
Yeah. How do you manage? Because that's depth. The things that you navigate with others is depth, right? And that's not easy work. That's not light work. That requires like, I don't know, steady groundedness, like deep-rooted steadiness. I don't know. How do you manage holding that space for people in that way?
I think it's a part of my design. I think I
Yeah.
was physically designed to be able to do things like this because
Mm,
when I would commune with other practitioners, they would often talk like, I feel so drained after a class. I was kind of like, I'm ready to go. Like, let's keep going. And I had to sit myself and be like, girl, why is that?
yeah.
Within studying myself and finding
Hmm.
out different like gifts and skill sets and caveats that were naturally given to me in this particular timeline, I feel like that really helps a lot. Darkness feels like a friend to me. I've gone through so much tragedy in my life that I'm very intimate with grief. I'm very intimate with darkness.
Mm,
I don't find it to be a threat. I find it to be um, really a space of, again, like profound transformation. I couple that with being trauma informed and
mm,
understanding how trauma affects the body, how it affects the mind, how it affects the spirit. So I'm able to utilize that duality and find a middle ground where people are able to feel safe. And that only comes from the fact that I feel safe. I feel safe in addressing my own traumas, right? And I feel safe in exploring my own darkness. So you're gonna be fine in my hands, like, and just having that
yeah.
allows me to be able to show up and feel very centered in what I do.
Yeah. That is so comforting in so many ways because I think definitely like in healing, we as humans are like, oh, I don't want to suffer at all, please.
Yeah.
I don't want to feel discomfort for one moment if I don't have to. And often we think like discomfort means we're doing something wrong or like we've fallen off or whatever the case may be. But to have this loving, like nurturing place of like, actually, no, like you're right, exactly where it's supposed to be. Unfortunately, but fortunately for us, we are here. We're here to learn. We're here to grow. We're here to nourish each other in these places. Because I also think people kind of glaze over this in the human experience. A lot of the human experience is suffering. A lot of the human experience is uncomfortable and change is happening. And it feels, like you said, messy and painful. And we're here to learn. And learning is a messy ass process.
There's a lot of repetition too, right? When
Mm.
it's very like silk, I can never say the word, but I can see the image. It's the spiral, the divine spiral. But
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah.
forgive me. lack of words.
No, no, no. Yeah.
So like we're constantly meeting a point again, but we're hitting that point so that we are able to come back to it with new knowledge, with fresh eyes. And
Mm.
we're often taught to kind of be afraid of that because we think that like healing is linear, like A to B, B to
Right. Right.
like, yeah, that would be freaking terrifying, right? If it was that way,
Yeah.
I would be scared out of my mind if I hit B
Yeah.
and I have the exact tool that I need to do that. But when you
Yeah.
realize it's spiraling upwards, it's like, oh, of course
Mm.
I'm kind of hitting this again because
Mm.
that I haven't addressed said trauma or haven't healed
Mm.
the moment. It's that this is a layered process. So I get to look at it with new eyes, more experience, more life. And maybe this time around, I needed more empathy. And I wasn't able
Ah.
to do that because I didn't have enough life that I lived, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it that way, it really allows you to suffer well. So like,
Mm.
and I constantly teach in again, because I was studying myself, I'm like, oh, like, why is my name Lotus? And learning the lore of lotus flowers being born
Yeah.
and beautifying the spaces that they're in. Like it's a very transformative healing flower.
Yeah.
Um, it's really it's really important to remember that like suffering is a part of the human experience. Struggling is not.
Mm.
Suffering is. You're going, that's how you develop empathy. That's how you have passion. That's how you create drive. That's how you're able to connect to other beings. Struggling can be avoided. 9 times out of 10, people think that they're suffering and they're really struggling. It's because they're holding on to this feeling or this experience, probably a trauma, right? And because they don't have the necessary tools to explore it or they don't have the environment where they feel safe in it, they tend to ruminate. They tend to hyperfixate on it. And next thing you know, it like they're living from that point. That is a struggle. That is human created. We kind of do that to ourselves. Suffering allows us to remember that this body is flesh, that at some point in time it will transition on. So you need to value what you're having here. You do need that discomfort, right? There are no flowers without rain. You do need the rain, right? But it being a perpetual rainstorm for the rest of your life is like you could, shift somewhere else, let go of that trauma. Um, a lot of people that I interact with, that feels very like new to them, but also like an aha moment. It's like, oh shit, yeah, like I don't have to struggle. Like, no, struggling is a choice. Suffering is what we're designed to do. Yeah, you're going to suffer. You're going to feel heartbreak, right? You're going to feel longing. You're going to feel discomfort. That's a part of the human experience. That's where it comes from. But it also is supposed to bring you back to your divine self, to remember that you have the ability to hold space for that and that you can then share that ability with others. I think
Mhm.
tend to miss that point because we are stuck in the why does this always happen to me? Or it's so life is so difficult, man. I never have what I need. And it's just like, well, now you're reinforcing it. So that's like a whole other conversation. But like, yeah, you're struggling, you're not suffering. And
Mm.
when I was able to understand that difference, and there's a really good book called No Mud, No Lotus. Um, and it speaks on the art of suffering well.
Mhm.
Once you're able to suffer well, like you remove yourself from that path of struggle and life is okay. Like I'm constantly in grief. But I'm also very in flow with joy too. They are
Mhm.
sisters that I'm in constant communication with. Sometimes I'm annoyed by it, but I also remember like, wow, grief is allowing me to have grace in life. I
Mhm.
need grief to have grace. I can't just have grace on its own because I may take that for granted, you know? And
Yes.
that duality, it's constant in life.
Yes. Take us to church. I, you scraped up against me even with that, the struggle and suffering and like knowing what the difference is. And I was like, oh, like, okay. Yeah. Like, check it, checkpoint, check engine light, check engine light. No, that's such a deep and simple but deep concept of what life is, and it's about perspective. It's about bringing it back. And like you said, the healing isn't linear. Um, it's it's so funny. We hear that all the time, all the time, all the time. But until you're actually in that shit and you're like, oh my God, healing is really not linear. It is the
Yeah.
most jarring thing in the world. You're like, oh, I'm doubled back. I'm doubling back to something like, oh,
Yeah.
and healing isn't linear. And that, like, ain't that about a bitch? You know?
You're being initiated. Life has to initiate you. Okay.
Yes, yes, yes. Oh my gosh, so much to unpack there. But yes, I really do love this conversation about like the difference between struggle and suffering because yeah, like well also we're human too, so it's sometimes it's really hard to zoom out and see it as
Yeah.
such. Because
Yeah.
like you said, you get stuck in that trauma, or you get stuck in this moment, and like you do get stuck in those narratives in your mind that tells you, well, this is always just how it's been. This is just how it's gotta be. Like, I don't know any way else, you know, or whatever. And obviously, like there's I feel like we're in the right timeline because of this all of this access to knowledge and enlightenment and empowerment is all right at the axis of our fingertips. So it's like people are waking up more and more every day, but with as many people that are waking up, there is still, you know, um, friction, I find. There's still going to be friction. Even if we're all enlightened, we're all light beings, you know, floating around our, you know, bright, beautiful orbs of knowledge and sacred energy, but there's still friction. We're still having a very much human experience.
Yes, 100%. It's so funny that you mentioned that because I'm getting this connection in my mind. Earlier
Mhm.
when I was in prayer, it was a very clear message of uh, not everyone is here for the same message or purpose. Like
Yeah.
keep that, you know, like
Yeah.
that friction is a part of life. That resistance, that contrast, like that's also part of said human experience. And keeping that in mind is helpful. For those that are like struggling with being able to zoom out, I mean, outside of doing like somatic work, like your body is here to help you zoom out. Like this is how we process energy. Quite often we're stuck in one place, and that's why we feel so overwhelmed. But on top of that, like having a spiritual practice, whatever that is, whoever you call on to, that's your business. Do what you need to do. But I know for me, calling on my ancestors helps me to zoom out because I think about what they had to endure and what they went through, and that I still exist when like things were completely against them. I exist, you know, like sometimes like it really can blow your mind of like, wow, you know, like my great grandmother was a sharecropper, you know what I'm saying? Like before then, you know, her mother was indigenous, you know, like and having like you go into that story and you see like, wow, like we have endured, we have survived, but we have also transformed. I It's very hard for me knowing that information about my lineage and not feeling like I am prepared to go through whatever it is that I'm experiencing. That doesn't mean that I'm not dramatic. And like when I go through my moments, I'm not sliding on the wall, fighting the air, because again, I'm still human, right? But that wisdom always comes back to me to, hey, you know, tap back into spirit because spirit will help you zoom out. Your humanity gives you that eye for detail, but your divinity
Mhm.
reminds you that there's a bigger purpose to this, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I do know.
Yeah.
I do know. Yes. Yes, I do know. Oh my gosh. I am being fed. I am being watered. I am full. I want to just highlight this, like the being dramatic, because I love that. Me too.
You know?
I always say, like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do the hard thing. I'm here for big purpose. I know this. I know this about myself. I'm here for big purpose. I'm here to do big things, but I'm gonna cuss the whole fucking time and I'm gonna freak the fuck
Sorry
out a
about it.
little bit. It's part of the
Yeah,
process. Like,
I'm gonna try and I'm gonna bottle my tears and use it for later. But like it's
100%.
definitely going to be,
100%.
I'm definitely gonna cry. Like if you ask,
100%.
I'm so dramatic. They're
Oh,
like,
same.
yeah, super dramatic.
Oh, for sure. I was processing something recently and I was like, I finally, like years and years of compounding emotion of this one instance, and I finally like hit a breakthrough. I was crying, girl. I was like, you know, like boo
Yeah,
hoo hoo crying. And I'm just like, I'll never experience this again. Like, and I let myself just kind of have a moment. Like, I went full Diana Ross, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, I let it be known. Like, I was just like, my heart, like, I gave myself that. Well, she has been waiting for this moment for a long time. So I finally was like, to be really expressed in this moment, like, really letting it out. And I'm like I'm like in the throes of this like moment of these emotions. And my guides are laughing at me.
I
And
agree.
I'm like, I'm like in the midst, like this, like, throw myself down the stairs, like, oh, like I've perished, like, and they're like, girl, literally, like the snickering, and
Oh,
I'm like, the snickering, and I was like,
yeah,
let me have this, like,
yeah,
let me be expressed, let me have
yeah.
this moment to just freaking move through. And then once the storm passed, I literally was like, you
That
know,
was
it was
good.
over. I picked my head up and we kept going.
Yes, I'm always I'll always be like plot twist. And my sister's like, girl, really and truly, like, it's you're gonna be okay. I'm like, you don't know that first. You're like, okay, well, let's talk about it. And then like a day later, I'm just like, anyway. And
Yep.
she was like,
Yeah.
so
So
you want to talk
anyways,
about like
yeah.
really crash out? I'm like,
Yeah.
we live and we learn, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, and scene.
Yeah. That's also like a part of tapping into your femininity, to that energy. Like it is very, people don't realize like divine feminine energy is chaotic. That's why it
Mm,
has that duality with the divine masculine. That is the structure, that is the container. But
mm,
the creativity, the creation, the birth, that is a chaotic process.
mhm.
Think about creating anything, whether you're creating a baby or the stars are being created. It is literally chaos.
Yep.
And then eventually it subsides and it's like, oh, that was so beautiful.
Yeah.
But moment, it was a shit show. It's like I have to figure out how to survive this thing. And I'm asking for straws, but I know something great is coming. But why is it not here yet? Oh my
Mhm.
God, I'm tired. Oh, I don't like the way my hair looks. Then you go down this whole roll, and then all of a sudden it's here, and you're like, look at my precious baby. Like, wow. Oh, I birthed you. Like, this is an incredible experience. Whether that's a new version of yourself, an idea,
Mhm.
business, or an actual human being, like that is the same satisfying feeling that we,
Mhm.
and it is from the chaos of femininity. Like you can be dramatic. Should it be like an all the time thing? No, because that will exhaust you and your energy,
Mm.
right? No matter how infinite you are, like it's a place and
Mhm.
time how we engage with our energy. But
Yeah.
like if throw a little drama in there here. Like my drama is not hurt anybody else. You know,
Right.
I mildly annoy some people, but
Sure.
everybody's fine. You know, I'm gonna have my moment, and we're all gonna be okay. We're all
We're all gonna make it. Everyone is gonna be fine.
yeah.
Yeah, mostly my drama is definitely like I think self-contained. It's mostly just me experiencing myself, me watching myself do the thing that's and then, yeah, we move forward. We move
Yeah,
forward and everybody's fine.
everybody's fine. Yeah, like it's okay.
Yes, that whole point is the chaos. The whole point is to be expressed. The whole point is to just be felt. And then you do with what you will with that, I
Yeah.
think. I wanted to talk to you about EFT tapping because that was initially what you and I had talked about when we met like a long, long time ago because I was like on this journey and I wanted to see black and brown faces doing this tapping because I wasn't seeing that very often. And that's how I found you. So I was like, oh, hell yeah. Like, what's up, girl? Tell me, how did you discover that in your journey? And yeah, give us a little more.
Definitely found EFT during one of my crash out seasons,
Hell yeah. Period.
It was so necessary. So, a little bit of background. When I was like 19, I was diagnosed with like two autoimmune disorders for
Mm,
lupus and rheumatoid arthritis.
mm,
And I just was having a very hard time processing the Western protocol for it.
yeah.
Arguing with my doctors every day. I've had doctors like be like, I can no longer have you as a patient because I was very adamant about what I will and will not put in my body, even at a
Good.
young age. Um, and that led to like a lot. That led to a lot of like just stress and pain and isolation and feeling at war with my body. So anyone who has like a chronic illness or an autoimmune disease can attest to like you feel betrayed by the vessel that you're in. Like, why
Mhm,
are you attacking yourself, dude?
mhm,
Like, what's going on? And of course, when you dive in deeper, you find that there's like spiritual reasons for this. But prior to me getting to that space, I had to be at peace with my body because I'm like, I feel like I'm dying. Like I feel like I'm very close to my body just being like, girl, I'm tapping out. Like I've done all that I could for you, and you're still not connecting the dots. I'm
mhm.
gonna situation. And tapping was presented to me by Gabrielle Bernstein and Auntie Alanya Van Zant. They were both talking about it in their own rights. And I was like, what is this? And um with certain practices, like you can tend to be a little worried when you're like, like an empath or like, I don't want to engage in this off the bat because like, what if you kind of I say this because I've had clients who like practice Kundalini and
Mm.
like they're not prepared for the awakening, or they're like doing it off of a YouTube video and they don't realize like you're about to unleash a shit ton of energy. And like then they tend to have like a steady flow of chaos for a set amount of time. And it turns them off from spirituality or practice altogether because they essentially burn themselves out. So like when you have an experience like that, you hear those stories, you want to move with like caution. So I had to do my own research on EFT, and when I found out like it's just to help me embody my emotions, like to connect the head, to connect the mind to the body. I was like, oh, okay, this might mean something, this might work, and I would tap on my own. And I would feel the sense of relief afterwards. And I'm a person that's like really big emotions. They feel like tsunamis most of the time, And being able to subside those big emotions on my own by doing something so simple was like really profound for me. And then, of course, like we just shared, once I learned something, I was like, I have to share it with other people. OMG, have you tried this out? So I was like telling my family, my friends. Then eventually I brought it to social media, and it was like so well received for that exact reason too, because outside of like Auntie Alanya, like Gabrielle Bernstein, as much as I love her, is a whole white woman. You know what I mean? So it's like to a certain extent, you understand trauma, and it's just like that's fine, and I'm gonna respect that, but also like not too much, like my
Hmm.
experience is we're gonna hit a wall. It just always happens, especially in
Hmm.
medicine. Like there's stories for days. But and then you have that age gap between me and Auntie Lanya, where I'm like, you've lived a lot more life than I have, and how you're perceiving things, I'm not there yet. I'm just not there yet. So, like, how do we find that middle ground? And I am a firm believer of like, instead of complaining about it, be it. And I decided to be it and kind of step in that gap. And it has been really well received. And people have, that's probably the biggest compliment that I received, just like seeing someone who's like me. And I didn't go about it, even when I did my certification, in the way in which most practitioners go about it. I'm a Black woman first and foremost. I'm going to speak from my perspective, and either it'll resonate with you or it won't. Either way, that's how I'm going to show up. And a lot of people love that, like, I kept my vernacular, like how I speak, because I'm from New York City. They're like, oh, like you talk like a girl's girl, like you're one of us. I am. I'm human. So like I'm gonna speak like a human being, that level of professionalism. And I don't even want to call it that because I don't think it's professional. I think there's like a respectability politics that I never engage with. I've never done it. I just makes me angry. And being able to show up in those spaces definitely rubbed a lot of people, a lot of OGs in like energy medicine the wrong way. Hopefully
Mm.
they've gotten over that and use their own practices to settle that emotion. But for everyone else, they were able to like really sit with it and be like, thank you. This is great. And yeah, I've been teaching it, man, for definitely over like right before the pandemic. So maybe like we're in like our sixth or seventh year of me actually teaching it. And I've been able to do some incredible things because of it. But most importantly, giving someone a tool that is free for them to use, that I know is transformative in the moment. I know that in healing and spirituality, we often talk about how important delayed gratification is, and it is important. But again, that dual aspect, so is instant gratification. If I have to wait to get through my dark night of the soul to feel good every single time, no. No. I am a trauma-informed practitioner who is deeply spiritual, and I still am like, I'm good. No, thank you. But to have that instant gratification to help me along the way of like, okay, I can soothe myself right now in this moment and allow me to take baby steps instead of always quantum leaping somewhere. Yeah, why not? Like knowing that I can provide that for people, and help them empower themselves to connect their mind to their body so they can access the fullness of their own power, their own magic, is really a blessing that I was led to. That's what I can explain.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I was hearing like disruptor, like you are
Yeah.
meant to be a disruptor. And like I loved how you were like, and I hope that they found practices that could help them work through that emotion that they're feeling that was so triggered by me being a disruptor. And then like do back on my own track, like that was a you thing, like weird. I I live for that unbothered. I live for that like unbothered energy of just like I don't
Okay. Yeah. Like, well, I have to keep going. So, wow, Lotus. Okay. You're that bitch. You were always that bitch. You've been that bitch. Oh my gosh. Like, you are just like so divinely who you are and like so deeply rooted in who you are as a human being. And like, everyone just gets watered because you are who you are. And that's like the coolest shit to witness in action. And wow, this was just like, we didn't even go where I think it was gonna go for the sake of time. I wanted to give you an opportunity to shameless plug something that you're feeling passionate about, something that you're loving. Yes, something you want to share with the collective, share with the class even, and take it away, whatever it is that's lighting you up right now. Maybe it be a service, maybe it be something that you just heard, whatever it is. You get to do whatever you want with this, but I want to give you the floor.
Oh, I love this so much. Okay, so first and foremost, I'm in my writer era. So I have been writing personal essays, blog posts, putting my like master class notes from my master classes and my lives and things like that up on Substack. So I have a Substack, I have two. One is called The Dark Divines, and that's really for like the esoteric, occult, like diving deep into energy medicine, EFT, dark feminine energy, all of that lives there. But then to honor that duality that lives within me, I have a Lotus Living, and that's like more lighthearted, what I'm obsessing over, what I'm reading, what I'm eating, things like that, because I need a space for both. I need a space for my darkness and for my light. So that's probably where you'll find me being most active. And I love it there. So please check it out, engage, leave comments, all those good things. I am on social media, but like almost like I'm there and I'm not. It really is depends on how I feel that day. I mean, you're more than welcome to reach out to me on there if need be, but I would suggest joining my email list. I email once a month at minimum, but then there are some seasons where you're getting like 2 emails from me a week. It just depends on when spirit is moving me to give messages, and I really
Mm.
do honor that flow. So I can also share that link for you too if anybody wants to like join the email list or learn more. And for live classes, I am doing my best to host a live class like once a month, and it'll tend to be towards the end of the month, almost like a sermon, a public sermon for people to come together to commune. We'll pray, we'll tap, we'll meditate. We'll probably do like a card pull and just connect and commune with each other and set our intentions for that upcoming month. Um, and then, yeah, I'm on YouTube. Like all of my classes are on YouTube for the most part. You can pretty much go down a rabbit hole of things on EFT, on Dark Divine Energy, on energy medicine, whatever sparks your interest.
Mhm, mhm.
That covers it all. I'm
And
like,
we'll have all of that in the show notes too. So you'll have a place to kind of find all of those links for all her magic. Because you're definitely going to want to dive deeper into this and to her because wow, what a wealth of knowledge. Just by being crazy. I love that. I love that shit. Thank you, Lotus. Thank you for taking the time and sharing your beautiful wisdom and like just gracing us with your presence. It literally like this episode is such a like an alchemist for so many things for so many people and you make it so approachable, which like is half the battle. You know what I mean? People feel so overwhelmed. And so like, where do I start? Like, this is where you start with
yeah.
you. You start with you.
Thank you. I really appreciate that so much. This is such a beautiful space to be in. I'm happy that we were able to like have our heart to heart. I've always felt like, okay, this is like my sister, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So to really commune, I'm like, okay, no, I wasn't wrong. My intuition is still very good.
Yes. Yes. No, I literally am like, wow, like I'm looking at you like so lovingly. Like I'm like, wow, I just like love you. I'm like, wow. I'm like, I know we just met, but like I love you. Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, I feel the same kindred spirits. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for tuning into this week's episode of Take What You Need, the podcast. I hope that you were watered. I hope that you have something to think about. I hope that you have something to journal about. And I hope that you'll take a look into all of what Lotus has to offer us. She has so much to give, and we are so lucky to be able to receive it. With that, I encourage you to be hot, dive deeper, and tap your way through it. Take What You Need, the podcast was created by Lexi Bordeaux and Madeline Doss. Original music and production by Madeline Doss.
If you'd like to book an in-person or virtual session with me, you can find all of my information for Light and Sable Healing in the show notes. If you enjoyed this episode, please add it to your library, follow the show, leave us a review, and send it to a friend. It's the best way to spread the healing that you just heard. I invite you to join on Patreon. Patrons of Take What You Need enjoy exclusive updates, minisodes, shoutouts on the show, Reiki sessions, and more. Go to the show notes for the link as well as all the links for our socials. This is a Bad Cat Audio podcast.